Well, happening now, a report from the Washington Post says that Black employees prefer to continue working from home more than their white counterparts.
Well, not this white employee. I like working at home. According to the report, it is because of microaggressions that are aimed towards people of color. Joining us live to talk about this this morning is Dr. Roberta Hunte, an assistant professor at Portland State University. Good morning to you. How are you?
Morning from my basement.
Oh, from your basement. Good. Hey, it's nice and cool down there. It's a good place to be in a day like today. First off, let's talk a little bit about this because I have a feeling a lot of people don't even know what a microaggression is. What is it? Put a face on microaggression for us, would you please?
So microaggressions are daily slights. They can be indirect, subtle, unintentional, discriminatory comments or actions against members of a marginalized group based on their identity. So it's not just somebody having a bad day or someone being a jerk, though microaggressions give other people a bad day, but it's really slights that indicate that you don't belong based on your racial identity, your gender identity, your sexual orientation, your disability status, and so forth.
I think identifying some of these situations can be more difficult for people because it is not the overt racism that you think, oh, if I see this, I would say something, I would stop this. So how does all of that come into play in a work environment where you're in there experiencing this day in and day out?
So I think what it can come into play with, in meetings that your contributions are maybe invalidated, or that people's experience may be invalidated. And we see that more from women, people of color, people with disabilities. We see that there can be a insensitivity to what's happening in the world. Right? So we're in this time of racial reckoning. It doesn't stop when we go into the workplace. And one of the things that we also think about is that the workplace is one of the only places in our lives collectively where we are integrated. So it can be that there are jokes that are shared at work that are very offensive. And I think one of the challenges of microaggressions, an analogy that's often used is that microaggressions are like little scratches on your hand, and that one scratch, you think, oh, I can move on. But when you start to have many, many, many scratches on your hand, you start to realize that your hand is actually very damaged. And one of the things that microaggressions does is it causes people have to create an armor around themselves to protect. And that takes us away from our humanity. Right? So I think if you really want to think about how to address microaggressions, you have to think, what does it look like to create a culture of belonging in my workplace? And people of color, sexual minorities, gender minorities have been saying what they need. And it's really important for employers to really listen and to create protocols that address some of these issues.
Yeah, I think that listening is key, right? And not discounting someone, oh, you're being too sensitive, or, that kind of stuff.
And try to pick up on the subtlety of some of this too, because it is really subtle. That's the racism of today, is it's so, in some cases anyway, just really subtle and hard to pick up if you're not listening for it.
Right. An important conversation to continue, especially after some of the conversations we've had over the past year. Well, Dr. Roberta Hunte, assistant professor at PSU, thank you for joining us and shedding light on a really important topic and breaking this down. It's a good conversation for workplaces to be having right now.
Yes, and thank you for having me. Put money behind it.
Yes.
I think if employers really want to create a greater culture of belonging, it does require addressing systems, and that takes money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a very good use of money, because what happens when people don't feel comfortable is they leave, right? And that's talent
Yeah.
gone.
It is investment that would definitely pay off in the long run. Absolutely. Well, thank you again. Great to talk with you this morning.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we'll have more resources along with this information if people want to learn more on coin.com.